Moja. Karibu. Karibu, Your Excellency. Wakati ni wako.
Asante sana ndugu yangu Mheshimiwa Chiaba, seneta wetu wa Lamu. Karibuni tuketi wenzangu. My fellow Kenyans, ladies and gentlemen, I am pleased for this opportunity to meet you during my short working visit to the United Kingdom. And at this juncture, let me thank Ambassador Ngare and his team at the Kenyan High Commission for facilitating this meeting with very short notice. So thank you, Ambassador Ngare. I also would like to thank all of you for, at very short notice again, coming out and turning out in such huge numbers. Asanteni sana kwa hiyo heshima. Tunasema ni asante. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, as you're aware, we recently concluded a complex and indeed very competitive electoral process that involved, for the first time in Kenya's history, 6 simultaneous elections. It is an honor and indeed a great privilege to me that Kenyans bestowed upon the Jubilee Coalition the great responsibility of leading our nation for the next 5 years. The process was very, very peaceful, despite predictions by some quarters that it would be otherwise. Na kaha tunaambia pole, wa Kenya wanataka. Ladies and gentlemen, the elections are now behind us. Yes. And all Kenyans, irrespective of who they voted for, must resolve now to work together for the good of our beloved nation. Yes. We will therefore work together with all, including the opposition, in uniting Kenyans and in taking our country to the next level of development. However, I want to be clear that when we say we will work with all Kenyans, including the opposition, that does not mean that we intend to compromise the ability of the opposition to play their rightful role of holding the government to account. Ladies and gentlemen, Kenya is now under a new constitutional dispensation. We have a duty as a government to protect and implement the wishes of Kenyans as embodied in the Constitution of Kenya 2010. In this regard, most importantly, amongst other things, my government is committed to implementing the devolved system of government. The aim of devolution is to bring services closer to the people, ensure equitable development, and to facilitate participatory governance in which Kenyans at the grassroots level are involved in the decision-making process. As I stated in my inauguration speech, devolution is not a choice, but a duty that is demanded by our Constitution, and my government is committed to fulfilling this particular duty. Additionally, my government is committed to supporting the reform of various institutions as provided by the Constitution. As we all appreciate, the purpose of these institutional reforms is to promote transparency and accountability, entrench the rule of law and good governance in the country, and restore public trust and confidence in our institutions. Ladies and gentlemen, for us to achieve the goals of Vision 2030, my government is committed to ensuring a double-digit economic growth rate. This will require a combination of consistent and well-thought-out policies, as well as the accountable and prudent utilization of the available resources that we have. It is indeed my government's intention, and my government will build on the achievements of the previous government in all sectors, including further expansion of infrastructural development as you heard Senator Shiaba saying, the scaling up of energy generation to match the needs of our growing economy. And in particular, my government is very keen on creating an enabling environment for the private sector to thrive as the engine of growth of our economy. We recognize that our economic success and that of our neighbors is premised on the prevalence of peace and security in the region. Kenya is in this regard working with IGAD and the International Conference of the Great Lakes region, the African Union, and indeed the entire international community in ensuring peace in the Central, Eastern, and Horn of Africa regions. My government is also resolute on eliminating all agents of terror that threaten peace in Kenya, and this is one of the main reasons why Kenya sent its forces to Somalia. The aim of my visit here in London was primarily to attend the London Conference on Somalia. Kenya has been at the forefront of promoting peace and stability in Somalia and has invested immense diplomatic energy and indeed tremendous resources in the quest for a stable Somalia. I am here, therefore, to appeal for consensus in dealing with the challenges in Somalia in the interests of all nations. In addition to the above, we believe that the progress of Kenya is linked to that of our neighboring countries. My government will therefore continue to support the integration agenda of the East African community as well as the COMESA region. Ladies and gentlemen, the government is committed to protecting the rights of all Kenyans, and even those living abroad. I am encouraged to note that the Kenyan diaspora has now been afforded the rights and obligations of Kenyan citizenship, as well as the right to vote by the Constitution of Kenya 2010. And I want to take this very early opportunity to assure you that my government is committed to implementing the rights conferred to the Kenyan diaspora by the Constitution. Let me say that it is regrettable that the diaspora, with the exception of those in the East African region, did not enjoy their constitutional right to vote in the last general election. This was due to the logistical complexities involved, as well as time constraints in preparing for the elections. I, however, wish to assure you that though this Constitution provides you and provides all of us with the ability for progressive implementation of this right, my government will ensure that the IEBC will be better prepared and resourced to enable the Kenyan diaspora enjoy their voting rights in the next general election. You are aware that the government has been in the process, as was mentioned here, of formulating a diaspora policy that will guide its engagement with all Kenyans living abroad. This is aimed at forging effective synergies for involving the diaspora in Kenya's national development agenda while meeting their needs and expectations in a mutually beneficial relationship. My government will expedite the finalization of this policy. Further, my government will support the implementation of this policy with the necessary resources and legislation if necessary. I take this opportunity to commend you all for having active associations, as these not only assist the government in gainfully engaging you, but also afford you the opportunity to lobby for issues of your interest, both here in your country of residence and also in your country of origin, which is Kenya. In this regard, I wish to urge all other Kenyan diasporas all over the world to emulate what you're doing here in London and in the UK and form strong associations. Let me conclude by saying I wish to remind all of you that you are best placed to promote Kenya's image and prestige here in the United Kingdom and indeed throughout Europe and the world. You are also best placed to promote relations between Kenya and the United Kingdom. I ask you and appeal to you to uphold your patriotism and cohesion that exists amongst yourselves and to support Kenya, your home, our country, in our endeavors to develop a strong and prosperous nation that we can all be proud of. I thank you and I wish you all the very best. Asante sana. Asante na washukuru. Let me take this opportunity once again really to thank you for the very warm welcome that you have accorded to us in this, our first visit to the United Kingdom in this capacity as president. I want to say I truly appreciate. And let me say that I really was looking forward to coming and having the opportunity to talking with yourselves prior to the election. However, circumstances would not allow. That was not because I did not value your input and I did not value your views, because I know for every one of you sitting here, hiyo ni kura karibu 20 au kwa hivyo, let me take this opportunity, as much as I know you did not vote, let me thank those of you who use their one vote of influence to get me 20 or so at home. Asanteni sana. Na nashukuru sana. Let me also say that I take everything that has been stated here by the two representatives who spoke as being very critical. The diaspora has played, is playing, and I believe can continue to play a very critical role in helping us achieve our developmental agenda as a nation. And indeed, as the councillor did say, I think a time has come for us also at home to recognize that you are serving your nation not only through the great remittances that you send, which we very warmly await every month, but I also believe that you can play a much greater role. Yes. You are here as men and women of distinction who have left your home countries, settled in a foreign nation, but you've been able to excel even amongst your peers here, which therefore means that indeed you can greatly contribute to the development of our nation. There is no question and there is no doubt in my mind about that. And what we need to do is to ensure that together we work and develop and create a framework that facilitates you rather than hinders you to play that role in our country. Yeah? I have noted all the points that were raised, and I want to promise you that as soon, because as you know, as I said, we are operating under a new constitutional dispensation. We have appointed or nominated our cabinet secretaries, but we must wait for Parliament to do what they need to do as is required by law. So as of now, you know, the only minister I have in my cabinet is the Honorable Attorney General, who is right now a bit overworked. He's my Minister of Foreign Affairs when necessary, my Minister of East African Community, depending on the situation. So he's been adopting all that. So we're really hoping that indeed, in a very short time, Parliament will be able to do what is necessary and pass those names. And one of the primary and first roles after our first cabinet meeting, I will ensure that Ambassador Amina, if appointed, and I am sure she will be appointed because she is a person of high skill and integrity, once the vetting process is through and she is appointed, amongst one of her first missions, because our agenda is to actually shift our diplomacy towards fulfilling and ensuring that we achieve our economic agenda for our country, right? And that was very clearly stated in our manifesto. So one of the principal things I will assign to her is to ensure that she comes out together with various other cabinet secretaries, those responsible for finance, which I'm sure you're very interested in, those responsible for other sectors of our economy, to come here and to actively hold, not to talk to you, but to sit down in a forum, to take on board the various ideas that you have, the various issues that you have, for us to be able to incorporate those in our development agenda. I see no reason why we as Kenyans should be out there mobilizing resources, in France, in China, in the United States, when I know if we come up with the concrete projects that we have Kenyans who are able to invest in those projects. And that's what we would like to see happen, because that return, that ultimately, because when we go and borrow this money, we're not getting it for free. We're going to pay it back. Yes. So we might as well have that interest earned by our own Kenyans. Right? So we want to create these opportunities that will allow our Kenyans, our diaspora, our 48th county to be able to actively invest. Right? And to help us achieve our developmental agenda. I also believe that there's going to be great opportunities available in the counties. The counties and the idea around the counties is not just to bring services closer to the people, but also to open up investment opportunities. And we'll be encouraging the various governors, once they are also settled, to come out and to talk to you and to tell you of the opportunities that exist in their respective counties, so that development is not just focused in our major cities, but we also want to know that we are developing our far-flung areas. There's no reason why Turkana cannot be a booming county. There is no reason why Marsabit and other areas have got great potential. And I believe that, once, like I'm saying, our governors, etc., have settled down, we will try and work with them, arrange through foreign affairs, through the embassy here, or the High Commission, to facilitate these governors to come and talk to you and to engage you and to tell you what opportunities are available in their respective counties that offer opportunities for investment. So these are all areas that I would look at working closely together with yourself. Let me also say that I do agree that we have a great deal of expertise that is available here. And we are also wanting that the new offices that we create are interactive. So it's not that it's only when we travel that we get an opportunity to engage with you. So I therefore take on board, and I accept that offer of us, and I will create an office in the office of the President that will be specifically to deal on a day-to-day basis with our diaspora, so that we are engaging on a regular basis. Maybe not at the level of principal secretary, because hiyo ni mambo ya kwenda bunge tena, and I don't want to go there. But we will create an office, that can handle those issues and be in touch with me on a regular basis. Yeah. And given the fact that so that we are able to have somebody who we are conversing with on a regular basis. And since Councillor Elizabeth already has a job representing a council, maybe Sam, you can consider yourself a job if you're looking for one. One is available. Kuna kazi. Kwa hivyo unaweza ufikirie hiyo ndio we start and we get ourselves moving. I think, let me conclude by saying that Kenya is a great country. I don't believe there is a country greater than Kenya in this whole world. God took his time you know, when he took his time when it came to Kenya. And really, all that is required is for us as Kenyans to join hands and make Kenya what it truly can be, the greatest nation in the world. And I believe it can be. What we need to do is to unite as a people, to recognize that it is through working together that we can individually and collectively achieve our goals. If we are able to look at ourselves first and foremost as Kenyan, and that is the greatest thing about the diaspora, because you people look at yourselves as Kenyans first. Yes. You treat each other as Kenyans first. Yes. And this is the spirit that we want to enter into every single Kenyan. Yes. The realization that by working together, we will achieve a lot more than by trying to put ourselves into little different tribal cocoons that are going to get us nowhere. You know? What we need is to grasp the full talents of our people, and to harness them to make Kenya great and to bring prosperity to all our people. And I believe that that's something that we can all do together. Lastly, you also, as I said in concluding, are really the face of Kenya. It's very unfortunate that we have this stereotyped view, not just of Kenya, but of Africa, you know, as this dark continent, as this continent that is lost, is hopeless, you know. And yet, you know, like I'm saying, and we are all agreeing, it's God's home, you know. Yeah? Yeah? So I really would like to appeal to all of you, you know, to help us dispel that image, not just of Kenya, but of Africa. You know? And really now, as much as we know we have challenges, who doesn't have challenges? You know? Who doesn't have challenges? You know, unfortunately for me, you know, in my previous incarnation, you know, at this time I'd be hanging around somewhere. Now those opportunities, those opportunities are not readily available. So my best friend right now is my wife and the TV. So when you watch the news, you know, on a regular basis, which is what I've been doing for the last, you see all sorts of, you know, children being abducted, I don't know, children missing, all sorts of problems here. Then you keep wondering, these people have more problems than we have back at home. You know? But for some reason, you know, only ours seem to be the worst, you know. So really, I look forward to you as Kenyans, as people who know Kenya, to help us sell this image of Kenya and Africa, really as a rising continent, as a nation of opportunities, as a, you know, as a place of hope, you know. And we will look at you as being our ambassadors in that particular mission, right? So let me once again say thank you for turning out in such large numbers. Let me say that I'm looking forward to working together with all of you into making Kenya, as we have said, the greatest place to be. Our home, a place of opportunity, a place that is prosperous, a place that has actually, you know, all the opportunities that a human being could wish for. And I am really looking forward to working very closely together with yourself and all Kenyans in the diaspora and within our nation in making sure that we deliver and we live to the dream that we all aspire to. God bless you, and thank you very much for being with us.